Now you try.
It's a world of laughter, a world of tears. It's a world of hope and a world of kids. There's so much that we share that it's time we're aware. It's a small world after all. Are we on our way to Devonshire?
Just like a shirt,
Or Worcestershire?
I'm not so sure, we'll have to wait and see.
Welcome, weary travelers, to the great big universe of XS. You may call me Sir. That is S-I-R.
Now is the time, now is the best time, now is the best time of your life.
There's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, shining at the end of every day. There's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow, and tomorrow's just a dream away.
WDW Radio, your information station.
Hello, my friend, and welcome to the WDW Radio Show, your Walt Disney World information station. I am your host, Lou Mongello, and this is show number 463. I'm so excited to be back once again, not only to help you have the best Walt Disney World vacation experience when you go to the parks, but I also want to bring you a little bit of Disney magic with this podcast, my videos, blog, live broadcasts, special events, books, audio tours, and more. You can find everything over at WDWRadio.com and subscribe to the podcast in iTunes. So last week, I asked, you answered, and entered and submitted your videos to be entered in this week's Listener Fact or Fiction segment. But instead of choosing just one person to play, we're going to have three competitors testing their knowledge of Walt Disney World history and trivia in a fun game where it's not about who wins or loses, but having some fun, hopefully learning something along the way, and the celebratory dinner in Walt Disney World afterwards. I'll then have the answer to our last Walt Disney World trivia question of the week and pose a new challenge for your chance to win a Disney prize package. Then stay tuned to the end of the show for more information about upcoming WDW Radio Meets of the Months, live broadcasts, which may be one and the same, and more. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode of the WDW Radio Show. Since the very first, or probably the second episode of the show, I've always wanted to get you involved, not just as a listener or with contests, etc., but actually being part of the content itself, whether it's through listener emails, coming to Meet of the Month, special events, or having you as guests on the show. And some of my personal favorite shows that I've done in the past nearly 12 years of podcasting have been ones that I have done with you. And the greatest reward for me hasn't been the content, but really the friendships that have come from it. And a few years ago, I realized that not everybody maybe either had a question or expertise in a certain area, or even the ability or interest to take a deep dive into a topic. So this week, I wanted to sort of go back, as I did earlier, sort of to where I started, which is wanting to share trivia with you and give you some fun facts, bring you some attention to details and stories, and hopefully just let you have a better experience in the parks or some fun at home or at work, depending on where you're listening. That's where the idea of Listener Fact or Fiction was born, where you can join me on the show in a fun trivia type format. And over time, I've had various ways of selecting people to play in the past. But this past week, during my live Wednesday night show on Facebook, I had the idea to do another Fact or Fiction segment. But this time, I wanted you to sort of plead your case, right? The recovering attorney came out, not via a post or a tweet, but in a 20-second video. I asked, you answered, and I actually decided to choose not one, not two, but three videos as winners. And the three people who submitted them all are joining me on the show to compete in a little twist of listener faction fiction that I like to call Listener Factor Fiction Throwdown. And we'll figure out along the way if they are playing for some valuable or not so valuable prizes. Most of all, I hope they and you have some fun and learn something along the way. So without any further ado, I want to give you this week's contestants, friends, and some members of the WDW Radio Nation. Again, no order other than ladies first, of course. A longtime friend who I think we met in real life back in 2006, and she participated in one of the early trivia contests I did in Tomorrowland at the Noodle Station during the old Mouse Fest days. You know her, probably. You love her, definitely. She is Beatrice Feeney.
Yay! Hello,
And the crowd goes
Mondello.
wild. So are my facts right? We met in 2006 during the trivia contest?
Actually, 2005. Yes, you had just written your first book, and I had no clue who you were. And we were both standing there getting ready to do the trivia because I thought that would be fun. And you and I just happened to be standing next to each other, and you were like, hey, I just wrote a book. I'm like, oh, that sounds really cool. So that's how I met you back in 2005. And you've been one of my closest Disney buddies ever since that day. And your family has become my family, and your friends have become my friends. And I'm so thankful for it.
Yes, you have been, you really quickly became a close friend. And you this is your first time on the show. You were close once, right? Because you were going to join us
Yes.
as a member of the running team.
Yes, and we were going to do a show of, a year in review one time, but then I couldn't make it, and I actually heard the message after you recorded it, and I was like, oh, I missed it. So I was so close, but yeah, a couple of times. But this is actually my first guest appearance and probably my last, so I'm going to make the most of it because you'll never have me on after one time.
You're giving me and yourself a huge vote of confidence. Now I'm a little nervous. Another running team member, and a friend who I met recently face-to-face at the meet of the month over at the Swan and Dolphin. She is Lisa Glassner. So Lisa, welcome.
Thank you, Lou.
And
Pleasure to be on.
It is so good to have you, and we are very similar in many ways, other than the whole running thing. That's where our paths separate. But if I may share a quick story, you recently left the law practice and days later came to Florida. First of all, who does that? Who leaves the practice? Oh, wait. So you two, congratulations to you, not on the running stuff, but on being a fellow recovering attorney.
Thank you very much.
And where is currently home for you?
Home right now is in Maryland, just outside of D.C.
But you, I think, like our other guests, have the itch. You've seen what life in Florida is like, and another one thinking about making the move, right?
Yeah, I think that's a bit of an understatement. But yes, one day in the very not distant future, I think we'll be making our way down permanently.
Excellent. And another recent Florida transplant and longtime friend online who I met at the same meet of the month at the Swan and Dolphin. I want to welcome you, Joseph Jones, to the show. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, Lou, how are you?
Good. And thank you all again for putting yourself out there. So very quickly, tell me, the videos that you submitted, was it one take, one and done, or how many times did you actually record the video?
I maybe did it 3 times. This is Beatrice, and I just kept looking at how horrible I felt I looked. I'm like, man, it's the evening. I've already got my PJs on. This is just not cool. So it took me a few times to realize that I just didn't care about that. And it was just me, and it was going to be fun. So.
Awesome.
So I was one and done. I wasn't actually going to do this because I felt like I would probably humiliate myself. And then I was out for this massive run on Friday. And I got back from it, and I had a very short period of time between that and picking the kids up from school. So I seized the moment and videoed something very quickly, and it wasn't quite within the 20-second confine, but I figured it was good enough, and I sent it over to you, and but I think before I could change my mind.
Yeah, you knew that the 20-second was more like guidelines. You've heard the show before, whoever actually pays attention to the time. But I know that some of you have been entering the trivia contest every week, some for a long time. So I have to think that you all must probably think that you know your stuff. So I have a couple of quick questions, and I'll ask you them individually in the order that I introduced you. So Beatrice, when was your first time to this is not part of the contest. This is getting to know you. I want to see sort of how well you know your stuff. So
these questions are really easy.
So when was your first time that you came to Disney?
My first time was in 2000.
Okay.
And I was an adult and had always dreamed of going. And as I
wait. I've met you before. When you say adult, you need to put those in air quotes.
I know, right? Well, in a Peter Pan sort of way, because I'm never really going to grow up. It's just they called me an adult, so I could make my own decisions and go to Disney by myself.
All right, so here, what is your favorite attraction, and what is sort of your death row Disney meal, like that one meal that you would have, on death row?
Well, you're going to hate me for this because my favorite attraction is because of my childhood favorite character, and it's Winnie the Pooh. And it's one of those that even on days when I don't have a lot of time, I might just stop and do that one ride.
So why would I hate you? Look, if there's one Disney character whose physique I resemble, it is Winnie the Pooh. So I dig me some Winnie the Pooh.
Well, over the years, we've had discussions about how he killed Mr. Toad, and I feel so horrible for Mr. Toad, and I love Mr. Toad, but and I have ridden that now out in Disneyland because my first trip in 2000, he was already gone.
Exactly.
So I did actually get to ride and see who you're talking about.
All right, so your death row Disney meal.
Death row Disney meal. I'm going to say that that's at Beer Garden. And that's only because I was born in Germany, and that reminds me of my mother. So Beer Garden was one that I would take on every trip on my birthday, and I would go in there and eat that buffet like there was no tomorrow.
Wow. And see that? I've known you all these years. I never knew you were born in Germany. All right, so Lisa, when was your first trip to Disney? What's your favorite attraction and your death row Disney meal?
So my first trip to Disney was in 1982. I was 4, and then we went frequently when I was a child from then on. My favorite attraction, as you know, I love the thrill rides. I'm, all about Tower of Terror and everything else, but my heart is with Spaceship Earth. That is that's my go-to. Wow. And my death row meal is Blue Zoo. It's the Cantonese lobster at Blue Zoo. It's got to be.
You just jumped up on my list of favorite people in the world so many spots by saying Blue Zoo.
I mean, how could I not? Even my kids liked it. They talk about that Swedish fish soda constantly.
I love me some Cantonese lobster and miso glazed Miro. All right, Joseph Jones, first time to Disney, favorite attraction, and your death row Disney meal.
My first time to Disney was probably the early 80s when I was a little child with my family. My favorite attraction, I'm going to have to say, is Pirates of the Caribbean, just because it's the earliest ride I can recollect. And my favorite death row meal, I'm going to have to go very simple with you. A plain Casey's hot dog with sauerkraut.
Wow. Very interesting.
Yeah.
So is it more nostalgia, or is it like, OMG, that's just the best hot dog I've ever had?
It's the best hot dog I think I've had. Every time we come, we have to stop by Casey's, whether it's just to get a cup of sauerkraut or to get an actual hot dog. It's just the combination, and then there on Main Street, it's amazing.
I am not disagreeing with you, and I love me a good hot dog, and I think the atmosphere and the ambiance and the music and everything else plays into it. But I will go retro Jersey and say that I'm sure that there are people in New York City right now screaming, going, dude, you clearly have not had a dirty water hot dog like from the corner in New York City. with a knish and a pretzel as well. So one of these days you have to try that and compare. But all right, we need to get into the actual fact or fiction. Again, this is the first time I'm doing it this way. We're going to go sort of in a round robin, one question per person at a time. I'll try and remember to keep score, and then we'll just figure out to do with those scores when we're done. Good?
Sounds good.
Anybody nervous?
I'm totally fine.
You will be. You will be.
All right, so we're going to go Beatrice, Lisa, and then Joe. So Beatrice, lucky you, you get to go first. All you need to do is tell me fact or fiction, all right? In the Country Bear Jamboree, Henry tells us that Teddy Barra is from Tampa. Fact or fiction?
Fiction. He's not the one from Tampa.
Very good. First of all, and I love the fact that you add the fact that you know that it's wrong and why. Right, so Trixie is the special treat out of Tampa, although Bunny, Bubbles, and Beulah are also from the Sunshine State. Teddy, actually, if you remember from the show, she comes down from the ceiling on that...
on the cute little swing.
On the cute little swing, that's right. And now I'm going to go total Disney nerd on you. I actually have a copy of the old Country Bear Jamboree album, like the big wax album from 1972, where they give a backstory to her that she was originally she was actually discovered in Arkansas, and she was known as the Jewel of the Dakotas, and they give her this whole big long backstory that nobody else knows, and this is why I didn't date very much in high school. So all right, so Beatrice,
That's why you wrote the book.
That's right. There you go. So all right, so Beatrice, you have one. Lisa, it is your turn. Fact or fiction? Creature Comforts is the name of a merchandise shop in Disney's Animal Kingdom. Fact or fiction?
True. Fact.
So you're close. I mean, you're really close. And you know what? I'm going to give you credit for that one because it used to be a merchandise shop. It is now the Starbucks location at Disney's Animal Kingdom, which is located on Discovery Island.
Don't they still have that name? Oh, never mind. I thought they still
the
had the name
recovering
up.
attorney comes out. So listen, well, technically there is merchandise that is sold in there. That's why I'm going to give it to you anyway.
Okay, good.
I used to manage that store.
You what?
I would have said the same thing.
Thank you, Beatrice.
Wait a minute, they're ganging up on me already. So wait, Joseph, did you say you used to manage that store?
Yeah, I was did a retail guest service manager in Animal Kingdom back in 2007 and 8. And Creature Comfort was Discovery Island was my area, and that was a kids clothing, kids toy store, and all that. And then when I heard the news it was getting changed to the Starbucks, got a little nostalgic and a little heartbroken.
And you're going, man, that should have been my question. All right, so you each have one. John, your question is, in The American Adventure, Teddy Roosevelt shares a scene and conversation with John Muir. Fact or fiction?
Is that fiction?
I'm sorry, I think I misunderstood you. What'd you say?
Fact?
Correct. Very good. Which actually references a trip that Muir had, a camping trip that he actually had with Teddy Roosevelt back in 1903, which was really instrumental in the protection of places like Yosemite National Park and really had an impact on Roosevelt and his conservation efforts going on. So all of you are tied. If we end in a tie, I'm really going to be in trouble. All right, Beatrice, back to you. Fantasmic is currently sponsored by Nestle. Fact or fiction?
Ooh, I haven't actually seen that in a long time.
You haven't seen
Currently.
Fantasmic, or you haven't seen the sponsor?
I haven't seen Fantasmic in a long time because now there are Star Wars fireworks. I'm going to totally guess here and say fiction.
Correct. Anybody know who the current sponsor is? It is Pop Secret. Pop Secret, the official popcorn of Walt Disney World and Disneyland since 2015. Yep. They're the sponsor of Fantasmic at the studios. I believe they're a sponsor of a couple things over at Disneyland, and they're also a sponsor of the movie nights that are over at the resort hotels.
Really?
Yep. All right, so I remember here to keep score, not that it matters. Lisa, your next question is, in It's Tough to Be a Bug, the stink bug's name is Claire de Room. Nope.
I think that's fiction.
And in...
Or
what was that?
no. Go ahead.
And right, correct. It is fact. It is absolutely a fact. Near the end of the show, Flick introduces the stink bug, who is named Claire the Room, and she they use like a flower as a target, and she she does her thing, and that's one of the things that you smell in the audience. So here's a question: when is the last time that you actually went to go see It's Tough to Be a Bug?
It's been years because my older son is terrified of it.
That's exactly where I was going. I think a lot of little kids. So how old is your oldest son?
He won't set foot in it. He gets very upset when I suggest it. So I think the last time I've seen it was probably about 4 years ago.
So is it because I think for a lot of kids, it's not what's on the screen. I think it's the 4D
it's the
special
darkness
effects
and the sensations. He got very freaked out.
Yeah, my kids did too. My kids didn't like it either when they were really young. So, all right, it is 2-1, and Joseph, your question is the line or the quote, "I really smoked these guys. Looks like I'm the resident flying ace now," is from Buzz Lightyear's Space Ranger spin. Fact or fiction? Do you know? That is correct. Do you know where the line is from?
I'm trying to visualize it, and I can't. I know the line.
I really smoked those guys. Looks like I'm the resident flying ace now.
I'll redeem myself.
Oh my gosh! No, I can't put it.
Giant golf ball.
No, it is from Walt Disney's Carousel of Progress.
Oh, Carousel of Progress.
Yeah,
the final scene.
Grandma says it.
Grandma smoked those guys.
Final scene.
That's right. Grandma's a flying ace.
Yeah.
All right, Beatrice, back to you. In Toy Story Midway Mania, the first scene and game you play is the pie toss. Fact or fiction?
I'm going to say, do you have the little trivia, the Jeopardy music here? Pie toss. I'm going to say fact.
You said fact?
Yeah.
I hope so, because fact is correct. So the first game, right, is the pie throw. That's where you practice with the target.
Practice round.
Right, and then you do the ham and eggs game, the dino darts, the Green Army Men, the flying tosser, and then the Woody's shooting gallery at the end is where you throw the suction cups. So very good.
Usually I just shoot everywhere as much as possible, and everything else is a blur.
It's not about accuracy. It's just a matter of it's throwing out as many darts as possible. All right. Let's see. Lisa, over to you. Morocco was the first new pavilion added to World Showcase after the originals were built. Fact or fiction?
So I believe that's fact. It was the original 9, and then Morocco came in, and then I believe Norway was last.
Not only did you get it right, but you get an extra gold star for all of the added bits of trivia. Right, so Morocco was added in September of 84. Arendelle was added in May of 1988.
Arendelle.
Arendelle. It's on the south side of Norway. All right, Joseph Jones, in addition to his roles on both Spaceship Earth at Epcot Center and The Magic of Disney Animation at Disney's Hollywood Studios, Walter Cronkite also had a part in Sounds Dangerous. Fact or fiction?
Okay, that's definitely before my time with Cronkite. I'm going to say fact.
Fiction is correct.
Fiction.
Fiction is absolutely correct. So it was not Walter Cronkite actually was in a third attraction at Walt Disney World, but it wasn't Sounds Dangerous. It was the old Superstar television show, which was an opening day attraction over at the Disney MGM Studios, and there was a scene with Walter Cronkite during the Apollo 11 landing. You're all probably too young to remember. Did any of you actually get to ride, or not really ride, but participate in Superstar television?
No.
No, I need to Google that.
I vaguely remember Drew Carey.
Yeah, so Superstar Television was one of those really cool sort of interactive type shows where the audience really got involved, and they got you involved in a number of different, they showed you really how TV was made and let you participate in it. So, man, this is going to show how old I and the attraction were. So some of the shows that were involved in there was the Howdy Doody Show, I Love Lucy, General Hospital, Bonanza, Gilligan's Island. Anything? Anybody? Three Stooges?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, maybe this was Cheers, Golden Girls.
Gilligan's Island. Oh, my gosh. Some of those are awesome.
The Tonight Show?
Big fan of I Love Lucy.
They also had Late Show with David Letterman, Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. So it was really cool. Again, it was one of those things that, you know, as TV became and sort of we had a better idea of what it looked like backstage. Maybe it wasn't able to keep up with the times, but I really do miss some of those more interactive type experiences. So I think that we are all tied up at, I don't know, 3, 4, something like that each. Beatrice, back to you. The mayor of the town in Pirates of the Caribbean is named Carlos.
Oh, my gosh. I've never heard his name. Ever.
Don't tell him, blank. Don't be cheeking. The mayor is named Carlos. Fact. You are correct. Don't tell him, Carlos.
Good guess.
Don't be cheeking.
Don't tell him, Carlos. Don't be cheeking.
I am not chicken. I will not talk.
She sounds exactly
I
like
remember that line. Wow, I don't remember his name.
I did too, because that woman sounds exactly like my ex-girlfriend's mother. All right.
He went to the redhead.
All right, so Lisa, I will tell you, as somebody who's thinking about moving here, I love, clearly, the food here at Walt Disney World, but the water in Florida doesn't make for good pizza, except over at Via Napoli. Why? Because tell me, fact or fiction, they actually import their water from Pennsylvania.
Well,
talk it out. Let's. I want to hear the.
I expect they would import their water, but I'm not entirely sure why they would import it from Pennsylvania. So I'm going to say fiction.
I want to really sort of
they import it from New York or something.
That cloudy Brooklyn water, which actually makes it taste good. Believe it or not, it actually
makes a good bagel, so I think it probably makes a good pizza.
Right. Believe it or not, it actually does come from Pennsylvania. They import the flour from southern Italy and water from a spring in Pennsylvania because something about the mineral content there sort of is very close to the composition of Naples spring water, as close as they could find. But because you thought New York, it's near Pennsylvania, I'm going to give you that one anyway. There are no losers here. All right. So, Joseph Jones, fact or fiction, World of Motion in Epcot Center was sponsored by Chevrolet. Fact or fiction? World of Motion.
Say fiction?
Correct. Do you know who the sponsor was?
No idea.
It was actually sponsored. Wow, look at you coming in with General Motors. So did any of you actually...
I'm trying to redeem myself.
Did anybody ever actually ride World of Motion?
No.
So it was open from opening day until January of '96. We all talk about missing Horizons and some of the early Epcot. I loved World of Motion. I thought it was smart. I thought it was funny. I think a lot of the scenes were really, really humorous. It was designed by Ward Kimball, so it had a lot of his sort of little oddities in there. And the narrator, the host of it, was Gary Owens. And you're all going, what? That means nothing to me, Lou Mangello, because I was born in, way after you. Gary Owens was an old voice actor and DJ and TV personality who was always on shows like Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In, and he was Space Ghost. I don't know if you guys know who Space Ghost. I remember him from Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In. He had a very, very distinct, very deep voice, and I remember his voice very clearly from World of Motion. So, all right. All right, so Beatrice, we're back to you, correct?
Fact.
Yes. Congratulations.
Yes.
Moving on.
Sorry, I was in character.
All right. So Beatrice Feeney, in Mickey's PhilharMagic, you can hear snippets from a lot of different songs from a number of different films. The song you hear from Aladdin is Friend Like Me. Fact or fiction?
Fiction. It's I Can Show You the World, right?
How's that song go again?
I can show you the world. Shining, shimmering, thunder. See, I don't sing.
I give you, listen, you
This is
get
why
bonus
I am
points for
not
actually
a singer.
singing. Very good. It actually is a whole new world. So, Lisa, we're going to move on to you. It seems you seem to be getting. All right, I'm going to move this around because I was going to say you seem to be getting a lot of Disney's Animal Kingdom questions. So I didn't really prepare these in any type of order. Let's see. According to the Liberty Bell Riverboat, which is that a must-do or a never-do for you?
It's a must-do.
Excellent. You have redeemed yourself with just that answer right there. According to the Liberty Bell Riverboat, the Haunted Mansion is haunted because it was built on an ancient Indian burial ground. Fact or fiction?
Fact. That's fact.
That is fact. If you listen to the narration by Samuel Clemens, he says,
You see that brick mansion back over yonder there in the woods? I've heard folks hereabouts say it's haunted. They say it was built on sacred Indian burial grounds, so now it's filled with spirits. If you ask me, I'd say the ones telling those tales are the ones filled with spirits. If you want proof, just ask them. They got it. About 100 proof, I reckon. And whatever you do, don't strike any matches if they aim to breathe in your direction, or you won't just be seeing ghosts, you'll be joining them.
excellent. You're all right now currently have achieved a perfect score. All right, Joseph Jones, since you worked at Disney's Animal Kingdom, I will ask you a Disney's Animal Kingdom question. Because when Animal Kingdom was first announced as Walt Disney World's fourth park, its original name was going to be Disney's Wild Animal Kingdom. Fact or fiction?
Is it fiction?
And it's fact, correct. It is absolutely fact. When it was first announced...
It's not a zoo.
It was not a zoo. It still isn't a zoo. Joe Rohde.
I remember that.
Yeah, when Joe Rohde met with Michael Eisner in very early in the 90s, he wanted to really kind of combine this idea of sort of a non-traditional theme park, an Epcot-style pavilion, and a very non-traditional kind of zoo. And they announced Disney's Wild Animal Kingdom project in June of 1995. They broke August a couple of months later. But the name went through a couple of different machinations before the grand opening on April 22nd, 1998 as Disney's Animal Kingdom. And do you know the story about how Joe Rohde sold Eisner and the executives on getting this park even built?
It involved a lion.
Close
the tiger,
enough.
the Bengal tiger, right?
Or
Yep.
tiger, that's right, the Bengal tiger.
He brought in he went to them time and time again. They were not sold on the idea. And I talk about this when I speak to entrepreneurs and business people. Sometimes you got to just show them the tiger. And he literally walked into the boardroom with the tiger. And that was the moment that really convinced him just how impactful seeing that tiger would be. All right, so back to Beatrice Feeney. Horizons. And did you ever ride Horizons?
No, I didn't.
Kids. All right.
I know. See?
So
I
wait, so
told
none of you
This is gonna be bad.
none of you rode Horizons, did you?
I rode Horizons.
You did. Okay, so I'm going to save that question for you then. Beatrice Feeney.
As a baby, I rode it.
Open mouth, insert foot. See, all right, Beatrice Feeney, if you were to stay in a different hotel room every single night at the Walt Disney World Resort, to sleep in all of them would take you roughly 68 years. Fact or fiction? Don't try and do the math. If you were to stay in a different room and stay in every single room in Walt Disney World property, to stay in all of them would take you 68 years.
68 or 628?
68.
Oh, 68. No, I don't think it's that many years.
How many years do you think it would be?
I've heard this somewhere.
In his book.
If you did read it in my book, you would know that it's actually fact. And I haven't done the math, but according to Disney, there's approximately 30,000-ish rooms on property. If you were to stay in a different hotel room every single night, it would be exhausted with the packing and the unpacking, but it would take you about 68 years to stay in every Walt Disney World Resort room. It would.
That would be a fantastic challenge.
So, since I know that you like to do the local staycation thing, very quickly, what is your favorite Walt Disney World resort to stay in?
Ooh, I just stayed in the tree houses the other week. That was so fun because it was just it was like Swiss Family Robinson.
I had a feeling you were going to say that, just because I think it was the one that was closest to. But you were actually one of the very.
I would probably say Animal Kingdom Lodge though. So
Wow.
I mean, like my most favorite. I was just thinking most recent was like fantastic, top of mind. But Animal Kingdom Lodge is just above and beyond.
And you were one of the very first people to stay in one of the Polynesian Village Resort bungalow things when it first opened over July 4th weekend last year, right?
I was there on the very first July 4th, and it was absolutely amazing to see the 365-degree fireworks, the electric water pageant go by, have our own little pool out there. It was just amazing.
Nice. You're hardcore, man. I dig that about you. All right. Lisa, since you, we're going to move over to, let's see. We talked about, you rode Horizons, correct?
As a very small child.
That's close enough.
But yeah.
Fact or fiction, Horizons was actually built as a sequel to the Carousel of Progress.
Fact.
You didn't even hesitate. You didn't even, you knew that. You read that with conviction.
Yes.
This is your cue to say.
It was meant to be a sequel.
That's right. And you learned that from the Walt Disney World trivia books, correct?
I probably did, actually.
A lot of people didn't realize that, this was meant to show what the future was going to hold for guests. And through a selection of video clips, it was sort of considered to be the sequel, right? So the Carousel of Progress was to have followed the changes in lifestyles that a family went through going through the 20th century. Well, Horizons was sort of meant to continue their family story, showing how they might live in the 21st century. And if you listen very carefully, you could actually hear some different versions of Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow. I remember specifically, like in the Art Deco scene, they sort of remixed and remastered it to sort of fit into that 20s, 30s time period.
All I remember is the overwhelming smell of oranges.
I do. I loved me some Horizons. I love me some Horizons. So that is one of the ones I'm really sad that is gone. So
yes. Yeah.
Let's see. Joseph, I'm not going to ask you another Animal Kingdom question, so I will ask you fact or fiction, because I think we have to get to food. I don't think I've actually talked about food yet. The name of the restaurant...
I think that's a record.
I know. It's like 30 minutes in, not talking about... No, well, we asked you your favorite meal, so... All right, so the name of the restaurant Narcoossee's in the Grand Floridian is actually a Native American term that means baby bear. Fact or fiction?
Ooh. A fact?
It is a fact. It is actually a fact. Narcoossee was actually a 19th century settlement near Lake Toho near some really big lake, and the name of the town comes from the Creek Indian word for little bear. Quick question, show of hands, who has actually eaten at Narcoossee's?
I
have
have
not.
next to James Gandolfini
You sat next to James Gandolfini in Narcoossee's?
in a white shirt. Yes, he had a white undershirt on, and I'm
And
there in
nothing,
a
just-
button-up, nice slacks outfit. Yeah.
If he would have just been like in a white undershirt, that would have just made your meal more awesome. All right, Beatrice Feeney, since I seem to be on a Disney's Animal Kingdom kick, the seating areas in Festival of the now air-conditioned Lion King are the elephant, warthog, giraffe, and lion. Fact or fiction?
Elephant, warthog, giraffe, and lion. Yes.
Yes, fact. It is. They are, in fact, the elephant, warthog, giraffe, and lion.
And I even know what a giraffe sounds like.
I'm sorry, what does a giraffe sound like again?
Right, it bleats like a lamb, right?
I was even doing my little bleating bleating sound.
You definitely get the participation award tonight, just so you know. All right, so Lisa, I did not lay these out this way, but this one may or may not be in your wheelhouse. 1989 was the first year of the Walt Disney World Marathon. Fact or fiction? 1989 was the first year of the Walt Disney World Marathon.
Yeah, this is before my running time. I'm going to say...
No asking Jeeves. Get your hands off the computer.
I'm not anywhere near my computer. I'm just thinking. I'm going to say fact.
You're close. You're close.
Fiction. I meant to say fiction.
Right, I know.
Stumbled on my words.
The first Walt Disney World Marathon was actually in January of 1994. And for those of you who are runners, you will love or hate the fact that the first marathon had only about 5,500 runners in it, as opposed to the 55,000 that run now. But that launched...
You could probably sign up until the race at that point.
Yeah, I don't think those
instead of,
people
like,
were...
within 5 minutes of...
Yeah, they weren't taking the day off work and hitting F5 on their keyboard repeatedly to try and get into the marathon. But that really launched...
Like one corral.
Everybody's in A. You're all in A. So, yeah, that launched the Disney Endurance Series, which changed its name now to Run Disney. Back in 95, the year after, they added Blizzard Beach to the course. And then the following year, they started to really get serious about it, and they added electronic timing and some other elements to it as well. So, all right, Joseph Jones. This is not really a food-related question, but it has food in the question. Oh, no, not the donut guy again, is a line from Stitch's Great Escape.
Oh my gosh, I've written that once years ago.
And that's why I asked.
Donut guy.
Oh no, not the donut guy again. And that's not what they say when they see me entering the queue.
Fact?
It is fact. It is fact. They are
Sure
very... Listen, it doesn't matter how you get to the right answer as long as you get to the right answer. But they are talking about one of the repeat prisoners that they have to go and pick up, and oh no.
Perfect. Here comes another one. Ah, Lieutenant Sludge. What have you got?
We've had another situation in the Galactic Federation Bakery.
Not the donut guy again.
Yep. Kind of sucking the goop out of all the jelly wormhole donuts.
Just don't talk about the smell factor in that one.
Yeah.
So that...
before it's gone.
So, believe it or not, that was, each of you had about 7 questions, and as the judges are tallying up the scores, it does appear as though it's a tie. All 3 of you have it has resulted in tie. So, I'll ask a couple of other questions just for fun, because your prizes are not going to change anyway. Beatrice Feeney, the original sponsor of Space Mountain was General Motors. Fact or fiction?
Fiction.
Anybody else chime in? Who was the original? It's correct. Who was the original sponsor of Space Mountain?
You said GM? Is it GE?
It was not. It originally was RCA.
RCA?
RCA
Right.
leads
Oh,
the
that's
way.
right.
Yeah. It was part of a big corporate sponsorship package that they had, and then after that, FedEx was the sponsor for a number of years, and then now they have no sponsor at all. I'm going to throw you a curveball, Lisa, and say fact or fiction. Let's see how close you really have actually listened to the show. The very first interview I ever did on the WDW radio show was with Mark Seppola from the Disney Design Group. Fact or fiction?
So in my defense, I may have skipped over the first few.
Well, listen. Wait. How many?
So I know Samantha Brown was later.
Wait, how many of the first episodes did you skip?
Maybe like 14 or so.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm going to say fact.
It's actually fiction, but that's okay.
It's fiction.
Listen,
It's
I tell
fiction.
everybody, don't go, because some people say they actually find the show now and they go back and listen. I'm like, whatever you do, don't listen to episode 1. It's 6.5 minutes of pure torture, but you can
Yeah, I
start.
got through like half of it.
Wow. Wow.
It was, I mean,
You know, you don't have to say everything out loud. Something. I'm sitting right
you know what, though? It's heartening for people going in to see where you came from. It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
It's only because those facts are old facts now. That's the only reason. It's the facts have changed. It's not anything
Don't
about
come
you,
to her
Lou.
defense. Don't come to her defense. For those of you who care, and based on Lisa's answer, it sounds like not many of you, the very first interview I ever did on the show was with Charlie Ridgway in March of 2007 on show number 5. Yikes. That was a lifetime ago.
Now I need to go back.
Whatever. Too late now. The damage is done. Joseph Jones... Cirque du Soleil the Cirque du Soleil show originated in a country that is actually represented in World Showcase, and that country is, of course, France. Fact or fiction?
Fact.
Correct. It is fiction. It's Canada, which is like France light. There you go. Yeah. Cirque du Soleil actually originated in France. So you've all attained a perfect score. What do we have for him, John? We have nothing. We have no prizes. We have nothing left in the prize closet. So you all win a Walt Disney World. You win 102 ways to save money for that Walt Disney World book. All 7 of the audio walking tours, some stickers and mugs, and my undying love and affection. How's that?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Or I'll take you to lunch. So how about this? I will take you all to lunch one day. I was going to say your choice, but Victoria and Alberts doesn't serve lunch. Yeah, okay. Lunch anywhere together. Your choice. How's that? Maybe I should wait.
excellent.
Amazing.
Wait, maybe
That's
I should.
awesome.
Wait, I take that back. Let me give you. I have to give you something. All right, I have to give you something to play for. Let's see what is something that you would like as a prize. Be gentle, that I could give you, and then we'll have a quick tiebreaker round for.
I would like a Richard Sherman autographed picture.
I can make that happen. I can absolutely make that happen. All right, so here's what we're going to do. Thank God you said something that was like easy and accessible and not incredibly expensive too. All right, so we'll play 20 questions. Right, and you can each ask me one. I will think of a person, place, thing, character, whatever in Walt Disney World. You can each ask me a yes or no question to get to it, and the first one to get it right wins the Richard Sherman signed thing and a goodie bag full of lots of other junk, including a DVD with the first 12 episodes of WDW Radio on it.
A DVD?
So we can listen to
Nobody,
Like a video?
Nobody even wants that. Clearly, nobody even wants it. All right, let me try and think of something, and then you guys will have to try and ask me 20 questions to try and figure out what this is. This is actually happening on the fly, and I'm clearly...
DVDs weren't really out in the right.
I am clearly stalling for time. So, all right, let's see. All right. I think I've got it. So, all right. So each of you will ask me one yes or no question, and then if you think you know the answer, then you guys can go ahead and ask it. Sound good? Yes, no?
Yep.
All right.
Sounds good.
All right. So I have I have the thing that I'm thinking of. You could just sort of go in same order, starting with Beatrice, then Lisa, then Joseph Jones. Go.
Is it a character?
No. Lisa?
Is it an attraction?
No.
Is it a food?
No.
Is it a place?
Yes.
Is it a park?
No.
Is it in a resort?
No. You said, is it a park? It is not a park, no, and it is not in a resort.
Right. Yeah.
Counselor.
Gotcha.
Is it a restaurant?
Yes. Of course it is. What do you, come on, I'm Lou Mangello. Should have been the first question.
I should have started with that.
Is it an Epcot?
Yes.
Is it via Napoli?
It is not, even with the Pennsylvania water.
Is it a counter service restaurant?
No, it is not.
Is it on the Mexico side of World Showcase?
Yes, it is.
You know what I mean? Like, okay.
Like America Down? So I feel like we've narrowed this down to like 4 or 5 restaurants now. 9 Dragons?
9 Dragons? No. Come on now. That's 12.
Is it in Japan?
It is not in Japan, but that's a really smart
good
question.
question.
Yeah, see?
I know.
Is it La Cava?
It is La Cava. Somebody play the game show music right here. It is
Good
La
guess,
Cava
good
de
guess.
Tequila. Not during Food and Wine because the line outside is just way too long, but it is La Cava de Tequila. So congratulations. What do we have for her, Johnny? We still don't know what the prize. Oh, it's going to be the lunch thing and the signed Richard Sherman picture. But Beatrice, I'm going to send you one too.
Yay!
Just like 4th grade in 2016, you're all winners here. Everybody's a winner. Nobody goes home unhappy. And I will take you all to lunch and ice cream or La Cava, whatever you prefer. Next time I see you.
Ice cream or La Cava. Really?
Whatever, listen, whatever. You pick your poison. You pick your
I got
poison.
peaches and cream. I mean,
It is, your poison is my treat. So thank you guys, first of all, so much for entering the contest and sharing the video and being such good sports. And obviously, more importantly than anything else, it's not the fact that you listen, but I've known you all in different ways for different lengths of time, but you are truly a testament to the fact that we are friends, whether we have met yet or not. And I am grateful to you and for you, and I hope most importantly that you guys had fun, and whether you learned something or not is really not really important. It's just whether or not you had some fun.
This was a blast. Thank you so much
This
Lou,
was
for
so
having
much
me
fun.
on here. Yeah.
this is,
We
this
met
is,
new
this is
friends.
a dream right here.
Everything.
And it was easy, right? Like nobody, you see, you guys were all nervous for nothing.
It was very low pressure.
Cake.
All right, so now you can tell me, did anybody actually prepare for this? And if so, how did you prepare?
No.
I listened to the previous 2 Fact or Fictions, and then I drove, and I'm parked outside of a Walgreens, so that way I wouldn't have been tempted to jump on a computer or utilize my wife's knowledge to try and win.
Wait a
So,
minute. Wait a second.
I'm in my car right now.
You're doing fact or fiction from the Walgreens parking lot?
Yeah. I'm looking right at the 1-hour photo in the pharmacy. So,
Wow.
yeah.
That's awesome, and you
I
should
hope
get.
you have your AC on because I know that you're local now.
I do. Yes, I do. And it's been thundering and lightning really far, and I keep thinking, man, I hope this doesn't hit while I'm on the phone because that's what I don't need to hear is the rain hitting the windows right now.
Well, the acoustics in your car are excellent, so thank you for that. Lisa, any preparation, any trial prep before the show tonight?
Like way too many of my runs lately have been accompanied by you and Tim, so that may have helped.
When you say way too many,
I probably run a little bit slower than I do when I have music going in the background. But it's in good company, so it's worth it.
That's a nice way to.
But no, I guess since I sent my video in, and I guess I paged through your books a couple of times. But I did feel like if I had another week, probably would have
another
done
week
a
to
lot more.
prepare.
From the experience, as you were just saying, from the experience of working out to lose shows, I'm always hungry. I just don't get it. Like after my workout, I'm like wanting to just eat anything in sight. It's crazy.
Jesus, you should know after 12 years of listening, never ever listen hungry. Because if you weren't hungry before, you're going to be hungry after.
I'll never forget. I don't remember the name of the gentleman who has sort of silent auctioned into your show a few times. I'm blanking on his name right now.
Daniel Roberts.
Yes. So he does the marathons to your shows, right? And I'll never forget him saying that he had to actually turn you off at one point during the New York Marathon because you were talking about funnel cakes or something. And he was getting so sick from listening to it.
Awesome. Well, guys.
At mile 23, you get delirious. Nothing matters at that point.
But I was so impressed by that.
Running the marathon, you veer off over to the boathouse to grab something real fast.
Right.
Well, that's why and Beatrice, that you as you've run as part of the running team before. We're always out. Look, I don't run. I'm there to cheer. I think I do more good by being on the cheering side than the running side. So when you're running, we always there's people from the team on the course that are handing out snacks because we want to obviously keep you.
We want to fuel our team properly.
Exactly. And if you do happen to be listening to the show, you're hungry anyway. So you're going to get Twizzlers and pretzels and whatever else other kind of. You might not get, La Cava, but you'll get some Twizzlers and pretzels.
I am excited.
We usually have beer.
You won't be around, but Wine and Dine will be my first Run Disney race as a member of the team. So I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, I hope to see you there. I'll be running that one too.
Oh, fantastic. Good.
Yay.
I'm going to be working.
Overweight.
I'm going to be working. I'm going to be. I mean, it just happens to be that I'll run on the ship.
Cruising.
I'm going to be cruising.
You'll be up at 2 a.m. with the rest of us jogging around.
That's right.
You'll be in the kids club at 2 a.m. We'll be here running.
Wait a second. Do you know what though, Beatrice? And Lou, you do the same mistake. You say things without thinking about it first. I always, that for every race, even though I don't run, I come out to the corrals and I'm there with you guys and I'm out on the course. I am going to try the night, because Wine and Dine is at night again this year, or is it daytime?
No, it's morning.
It's
morning for
the
first time.
They moved it to the morning.
Okay, so I'm going to, wherever I am, in port or at sea, I will try and get up, get online, and I will try and FaceTime you while you guys are in the corral.
No way.
Then I'm going to go to Cabanas and eat my face off. But I'm going to be there with you guys in spirit.
We will totally be there in Corral W, and we'll be all together, and we'll talk to you. That'll be awesome. You got to give us your coach leader thing. You got to.
If not, you can just walk around.
Somebody has to carry like your face on a stick. Is that like a thing?
Yes. Lou's face on a stick. That's happening.
Yeah. And with that, we're going to end the recording for this week's segment, guys. Thank you again. It's only going to go downhill.
You already have.
As if you hadn't had enough trivia already, it's time for our Walt Disney World Trivia Question of the Week, where I invite you to test your knowledge of Walt Disney World history or see how well you pay attention to the details, not just in what you see, but what you hear, maybe even in what you eat. And if you think you know the answer, you can enter via our online form for a chance to win a Disney prize package. Before we get to this week's question, we're going to go back, review last week's, and select our winner. So last week, we were in Epcot Center, and I asked you to name 2 current locations in Walt Disney World where stars from TV Seinfeld could be found, seen, or heard.
So we go into NBC, we tell them I got an idea for a show about nothing. Exactly. They say, what's your show about? I say nothing. There you go. I think you may have something here.
Who wants to have some fun?
Well, let's start the insanity.
Giddy up.
Now, when I posed the question, I asked for 2 current locations where stars from Seinfeld could be found, seen, or heard. What I was looking for was Ellen's Energy Adventure, where Kramer, Michael Richards, was the caveman that gets struck by lightning, and It's Tough to Be a Bug, where Jason Alexander, George Costanza, plays Weevil Knievel, an Eggcorn Weevil. Now, some of you guys went above and beyond and know that John Michael Higgins was formerly on the old Test Track, and Ileana Douglas can be found in Rock and Roller Coaster, and she guest starred on an episode. Obviously, you didn't need those last 2, but kudos to you. Extra gold star if you did. I took all of the correct entries. Kramer, Michael Richards, and George, Jason Alexander, and randomly selected one. And again, last week you were playing for the 102 Ways book, all the audio tours of the Magic Kingdom, a WDW Radio Magic Band cover, and stickers, and one of the hot and cold travel mugs. And last week's winner, randomly selected, is Jay Lannon. So Jay, congratulations. You used the online form. I have your mailing information. I will get your prize package out to you right away. If you played last week and didn't win, that's okay, because here's your next chance to enter in this week's Walt Disney World Trivia Challenge. So this past weekend, the Muppets appeared in Liberty Square as they premiered the Muppets Present Great Moment in American History. You know, it's a salute to all, whatever. So let's talk about the Muppets, but not in Magic Kingdom. Because outside Muppet Vision 3D in Disney's Hollywood Studios, there's a fountain with a number of Muppet statues in it, dominated over by, of course, Miss Piggy. She's wearing a sash. Tell me, what does it say on Miss Piggy's sash on the fountain outside of Muppet Vision 3D? You have until Sunday, October 9th at 11:59 p.m. to email your answer, or better yet, go to this week's show notes at wdwradio.com/463. Use the online form there. This way, if you win, I can send you your 102 Ways book, all the audio tours, the Magic Band cover, the stickers, and a not-so-scary extra prize again this week, because it's October, the insulated WDW Radio Hot and Cold Running Chills travel mug. You can thank Jay Stubblefield for that suggestion if you thought it was clever, or blame him if you didn't, which is not available on the store or anywhere else. So good luck and have fun. That's going to do it for this week's show. Thank you again so very much for taking the time to tune in and listen. Thanks to all of you who entered and sent in videos for a chance to play. I will hang on to those. We will definitely do this again. I also want to thank some new members of the WDW Radio Nation family, including Chad Levin, Megan Desjardins, hope I pronounced that right, Jennifer Kaufman, Chelsea Lucas, and Charissa Lynn. Thank you all so very much for being part of the family and helping to support the show. And if you want to find out not only how you can help, but also get exclusive rewards every month, including scavenger hunts, access to our private Facebook group, personalized Magic Band covers, backpacks, shirts, monthly care packages from Walt Disney World, exclusive live video group calls, and lots more, you can visit wdwradio.com/support. And remember that a portion of your proceeds will go to the Dream Team Project to benefit the Make-A-Wish Foundation of America. Also, speaking of thanks, I have to give huge thanks and congratulations to my friend DJ Technoid Ricky Reed for the release of his new Magic Kingdom 45th Anniversary Tech Mix over on SoundCloud. I took some of the snippets from that, played those at the top of the show to listen to the full track, and some of his other mixes from like Buzz Lightyear, Honey, I Shrunk the Audience, Swiss Family Robinson, Paint the Night, The Electrical Parade, and lots more. You can visit soundcloud.com/DJ Technoid-3. I will certainly link that in the show notes. All right, just a couple of other quick reminders. Don't forget that the purge of my Disney collection on eBay is still going on. New auctions begin and end every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern at wdwradio.com/eBay. I have everything from cast member materials to documents, souvenir books, stuff going back from the late 60s and 70s, attraction scripts, and lots more. Again, new auctions every Sunday at wdwradio.com/eBay. I would love to hear from you and talk with you. So if you have a question you want me to answer on the show, you can email me, lou@wdwradio.com, or call the voicemail. Be heard on the air at 407-900-9391. I love it, especially when you call from the parks. You can connect with me on social. I am at Lou Mongello on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and be sure to like the WDW Radio page at facebook.com/WDW Radio. Also, as much as I love connecting and chatting with you online, nothing, as you know, beats a handshake and a hug. And our next meet of the month is going to be a little different in the way we're going to do it. I am traveling every weekend in October, and I thought maybe we would combine a few of my favorite things: a live show, a meet of the month, and food. So the next meet of the month is actually going to be on Wednesday, October 19th. We'll meet around 7 p.m., go maybe to about 8:30. Maybe we'll walk and talk and eat. So if you come late and not there, maybe you can join us on a little mini walkabout. Watch for it on Facebook Live that night, starting around 7:30. But again, we'll meet at Brazil, either under the lights or across the promenade by the water at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, October 9th. Please, by the way, let me know that you're coming. Go to the Facebook event page and RSVP there. And we also obviously have other special events coming up. Our e-ticket adventure is next month on the Disney Magic to Puerto Rico. And if you can't join us on this cruise, I hope sincerely that you could be part of our double dip to Castaway Cay, June 25th through the 30th, 5 nights in the Bahama on the Dream. Double dip to Castaway Cay. For more information, visit www.radio.com/2017 cruise, or just check the events page at facebook.com/WDW Radio. Speaking of meets of the month and other meetups, I also do some meetups while I'm traveling on the road to speak at schools and conventions and conferences. And if I can maybe help you by speaking to your business or to your school, visit LouMongello.com. I'd love to be able to help you any way I can, either by presenting to you or your group, or maybe helping you turn your passion into your profession with some mentoring or group coaching. Again, you can find all that over at LouMongello.com. And thanks, as always, to Becky and the entire team over at MouseFanTravel.com, my recommended travel provider, because it's who I use. Whether you're going to any Disney destination or anywhere around the world, they will be able to help you out. Go check them out at MouseFanTravel.com and subscribe to Celebrations Magazine over at CelebrationsPress.com. And as always, my friend, and you are my friend, whether we have met yet in person or not, and all I ask of you is that if you like the show, please help spread the word. Let others know about it. Tweet out that you're listening to this episode. Better yet, share it over on Facebook to your friends, to your favorite group, or on your favorite page. And please take 30 seconds. Go rate and review the show over on iTunes. Thanks to you, we have more than 1,200 5-star reviews. We hit number 2 overall in iTunes among podcasts this past year. I want to thank some recent reviewers like MJ11, who says that he found the podcast in 2012 after the last vacation. They don't get to go as often as they would like, but they feel more connected while away from the parks. That's the entire point. And the next time they go, it's going to be different because their eyes have been opened to much more detail. Erica Enstrom says, wonderful Disney show. I love it. Every inch of Disney is discussed as in talked about, not in disgust as in revolted. And it helps give me my Disney fix when I'm stuck away from home. Love the inside scoop and secrets. It makes Disney even more magical to me. Susie, not Suze, 7755 says, this is the best podcasting ever. I'm heading to Walt Disney World. So excited to explore all the locations Lou's talked about. My grandson's is visiting for the first time, and the podcast is pumping up. I love the fact that grandma and grandson can listen together around the radio or Bluetooth speaker. And MJ11 says, Lou provides a weekly taste of Disney to fill the time in between trips. The passion for Disney is infectious. I love it. Love you. Thank you so much, MJ, and everybody else who left a review. If you want to leave a review, you can visit wdwradio.com/iTunes. It'll take you right to instructions and a link to iTunes. on how to leave a review. And finally, and most importantly, I really do need to say thank you to you once again. You allow and afford me the opportunity to do this and to share it with you. And for that, I am so incredibly grateful. And speaking of being infectious, I hope that this show has had some type of positive, infectious effect on you. And in the spirit of this week's Fact or Fiction, when it comes to your life and what you do, you don't have to separate what's fact from what's fiction. You don't have to separate your dreams from what can become reality. You don't have to separate the possibilities from the probabilities. Go out there and find what you love and do what you love every single day. And I promise you a more fulfilling, a more positive, and a happier life. Thank you so much for allowing me to do and share this with you. I hope you have the best week ever. See ya.
Hey, it's Jim Meeker. I'm here with my daughters Lily and Madeline and my beautiful wife Samantha at the Magic Kingdom. And it's hot and humid in Florida. Who knew that it would be doing that in September? We're here for our third month out of our year of coming to Disney. And it's going to be a great day and looking forward to perhaps this weekend running in to Lou Mangello. Hope you have a great weekend.
Good afternoon, Lee Mangello. It's Gabby from Columbia, Maryland, calling you from the Food and Wine Festival. I'm currently enjoying my it's Korean beef with kimchi and rice from South Korea, and it is amazing. Unfortunately, my flight is leaving today, but I figured, hey, I'll stop by Food and Wine, kind of scope it out for Joe and I's extended trip in November. And let me tell you, my heart is literally hurting looking through this passport, thinking of all the food that I will be eating in November. I wish I had more time today, but I've definitely learned a lot, and I already told Joe that we need to start dieting right now because we will be eating and drinking everything come November. Hopefully I'll get to catch up with you sometime, but figured I'd drop you a line and tell everyone to bring everyone to the Food and Wine Festival because it is phenomenal. Have a great week, everyone, and I will talk to you later. Bye.
Lou, Dave Levin Sr. Dude, I just listened to episode 462, the Wine and Food Fest with the family. I think it's great, except, when you're talking about having those mussels and having the dry breadcrumbs on them, those breadcrumbs need to be soaked with garlic and butter. They need to hold as much garlic and butter as they possibly can, and they can't do it when they're dry. They got to be sopping wet with garlic and butter. Anyway, just saying, man. Take care. And thanks for the great podcast. I've been going through them one after another. I've been binge listening, if there is such a thing as that. We're going on to Disney in February, man. Love you. Bye.
Hi, Lou. This is Winetta from Texas. I just listened to the podcast about the historical moment that you wish you were a part of. The last question you asked was, where would you take Walt if you could take him anywhere to eat? I would love to go to Club 33 with Walt and just sit and listen to him talk about all the ways that he came up with to make Disneyland such a great place. I haven't been there yet. I hope to visit someday. And just to let you know, you're not the only one that gets emotional. At the very beginning of this episode, Elisa was talking about sitting on Lillian's shoulder on the train and thinking, what have I gotten myself into? And that struck such a note with me because that was the first thought that I had when I met my husband. So keep up the good work, Lou. Thank you so much for everything you do. Bye-bye.
Hello, Lou Mangello. It's Charlene Nagy from West Seneca, New York, calling in to say that my daughter Alicia got married this weekend. Her and Michael had a very, very beautiful day, a very gorgeous, gorgeous bride my daughter made. She was an exact princess. And her lovely husband, Michael, my new son-in-law, a.k.a. son, was a very handsome prince. They had a very fabulous venue, and now we are on a countdown. They are in Disney, and we are now counting down to the e-ticket adventure. And I have a special guest with me today who's going to tell you what number that is.
As of this calling, it is down to 40 days, and I am Stuart Sternberg saying hi, Lou, and to everybody else in the box.
Hi, this is Michelle Sternberg saying see you at the cruise. We can't wait to see everybody. Hi, Lou.
New York City, sailing out and going to St. Martin, Tortola, and Puerto Rico. We are going to have a very, very magical trip. My friend Karen met the Sternbergs yesterday, and we are going to all have a fabulous time on this cruise, and she's going to feel very welcome. I just know it.
I was going to edit this down to 2 seconds.
Have a great day. And stay positive like Lou always says.